No, this is actually an American flag.
I got an American flag, that's the whole one.
It is American flag.
Outside your house, that's a towel.
No, it is American flag.
That's American flag.
Yeah, it's a real American flag. Anyway, as I was saying before I was interrupted there. Part two of the story, yeah. So he was a superhero, right? And there was another superhero, now the Deep Brothers. And so one day, the older superhero, who stood up for what he was believing in, who always believed in doing the right thing, okay? Because he had some weed in his pocket. Because his friends, were doing this or that, and he was associating different people, and they thought they could get away with it because I wasn't Irish, and I wasn't part of the club per se. I'm German and about half Italian, but I'm really only 33% Italian. And parents are artists and not racist, okay? And even though I was raised in a very militaristic way by my blood or not biological uncles and friends of my family, I always stood up for what I believed in. And it cost me my freedom. So they made an example of me. And while they were doing that, they would go hit my brother and say, oh, that's because of your older brother. I'm not going to even say it, because I'm a cannabis patient now, But they try to make me out to be this evil person at 17 that should go to prison for 5 years. So, of course, I was like, oh, no, I can deal with you. Probation and have different institutions, jails. And, it really caused a lot of pain in my family, especially for my mother and father. And for the other superhero, it was as if the superhero was now no longer his superhero. It was as if Nazi Germany and the Nazi youth had brainwashed him into denouncing his own family and his own mother and father, telling them they're pansies because they're artists, because they're sissies, they make art, and that's bullshit. And he told my father that right until he died, that his art was bullshit, his house was bullshit. But in America, when you got a lot of money and you have the white privilege, you don't end up doing long prison times. And it cost my father his life savings, his whole money to get him out of jail, to get him out of prison. And he's never really been able to survive without us giving him money. And he'd have you think some other kind of alternative reality, that my father was this or that. My father was a great artist. He was sick his entire life, since 1970. And he got sicker. He'd have you believe that my father was stupid or, whatever, or he was abusive or this or that and the other thing. But my mother would say to me that he just doesn't understand how sick I am. And my father eventually realized that maybe it's autism or Asperger's, but I think perhaps it was a combination of my brother getting so caught up in the system after the military chewed him up and spit him out, for which he has an honorable discharge and a lot of respect for them, But getting back to the whole superhero thing, I didn't need to jump out of planes and get little medals, come back home, because my mom and dad had to pay for Walter Reed Medical Center, AWOL, lawyers, and all this kind of shit. And, bail him out of trouble continuously when he got out. I didn't have to do all that to become who I am today. And I don't really like to share. I'm not proud of things that have come my way. But I am proud of defending wherever I happen to live at the moment as being my home, because I believe in standing up for what I believe in, just like I believe in love, and I believe in kindness, and that's the greater good, and that's above us, that's the higher power, that's greater than ourselves, is love and kindness, and I believe in doing the right thing. let's put it this way. If you see something, you say something. And you do something because you can. Okay? And I'm not here to brag, but I've defended freedom, people, and saved lives. Just because it's the right thing to do. I need to put a badge on my shoulder to do it, put a gun, superhero belt, nothing. Okay? And I think that's the way it should be, because if you don't have the right intention, you shouldn't have a badge or a gun or a uniform. Because the minute you put that on somebody, and something's wrong in their heart, you have a bad combination. Just like Germany, Russia, United States. Unfortunately, what happened in America the last few years is very fresh in my mind. Black Lives Matter. Oh yeah, they do. The police, they're just following orders. Yeah, they said the same thing in Auschwitz. They were just following orders, right? When you just following orders, you can't think for yourself. Okay, it's your job. You're enforcing it, but man, you better believe in what you're doing and be kind. I don't think probably that last 5 minutes as a police officer, I might just let everybody go. And the people that I don't want to let go, I probably wouldn't waste taxpayer money on them, if you know what I mean. Not that I'm trigger happy or I got some power chip or because I was picked on at school. I wanted to be the superhero. No, because you know what? I was the last man standing. And all you kids, and I don't want to drop names, but I was the last two, last one. Only lost a couple wrestling matches. I was younger, the kids way older than me, hurt my neck, and I was like, fuck that, I don't want to do that anymore. And I still have pain from that. But I ain't gonna lie, there's always somebody bigger than you, always somebody better than you, always somebody stronger than you, always somebody dance better than you. But I played baseball pretty good. I ain't gonna lie, pretty good shot. And I taught my little brother everything he knows, except for jumping out of planes, and I give him a lot of credit for that. But let me ask you this question. Why on earth would your own father left a will, he wrote it down, he made a video, giving everything to the older brother, would you contest that? Because first of all, my brother, my sibling, I don't want to say his name either, is a convicted felon. And I just inherited a lot of debt, okay? Why would you want to force me to sell a house that, I owe this money to, and I'm the only one who's paid the taxes and mortgage loans anyway? You wouldn't get anything, really. And if a portion of what you call bullshit, the tools and whatever, and all the artwork that Dad left us, basically that's my business. I own that too. We'll see what the judge says. He says, oh, you're entitled to a portion? Okay. We can hash that out, or I can make you a deal. And be nice to you, because obviously Dad just didn't have enough time to get the will printed out and notarized properly, because we were in the middle of a pandemic, and I'm taking it back for the hospital. I was the primary caregiver and the only caregiver, because his whole family pretty much, except for my cousin a couple times, my cousin David, and I'll be specific about his name, helped him out. His own family cut him off. Didn't give a fuck about him. So I'm the only one taking care of our father for years and years and years. Because I believe in that's the right thing to do. And you know what? So would a superhero. A superhero would too, And I didn't need to denounce people and hate people and constantly get in trouble to prove that. And there's certain things that, people do get in trouble for that they didn't do or they shouldn't. And my brother just didn't quite realize that, just like investing and saving money and not constantly depending on your father and your brother to bail you out of trouble and give you money. I guess the difference was that when I finally escaped, okay, like one flew over the fucking cuckoo's nest, yeah. And I got tired of watching everybody else have a good time, so I did my own thing and lived very far the fuck away from here, across big oceans and shit. I was on my own. And I would call my mom, dad, hey, whatever. Years later, my mom came visit me for a little bit when she went to Germany, okay, and she came and visited me, but I got out of Dodge. I got out of the small town. I did my own thing, and I learned how to be responsible, survive on my own. That's why our dad left everything to me because, you know, I was going to be the most responsible and I would never sell this house. This is everything we've built and we've ever lived for. I mean, this place is beautiful. Look at it. Look. I got a cool house, folks. Okay? I had a great childhood. I had a great relationship with my little brother. I love my little brother. As much as he's a narcissist and has tried to put me in jail and make up stories and lies about me, I have unconditional love, and so did my father. It cost him his whole life, and until it was too late, he finally realized.